Good morning. It's May, what is it? 24th? 24th, May 24th. And it rained all night again. The day I left. Weather, it wasn't dry, but it has stopped. The sun is out. It's supposed to rain again tonight, but there's a few hours in here without rain. So I get to take my Monday morning walk, and this will be along the creek, which is the way I always walk on Mondays. It is quite windy, but very pretty. Everything's clean and bright and sunshiny. Probably try to avoid any place where I might find mud though, because it rained really hard, and it rained for a long time too. And after it didn't rain really hard a long time, but it rained hard some, and then it rained all night. Everything's still quite wet. Hopefully Facebook is giving me sound today. It didn't yesterday, and my YouTube feed failed yesterday about halfway through when I walked up to Mosaic Stadium. But if you go on my website, you will find on my YouTube channel, you'll find that walk up and around Mosaic Stadium and the Austin Aquatic Center. And I even had a train go by while I was out there, so I got to watch video of the train going by. The other thing I did yesterday was post a new podcast episode featuring Jane Yolen. She's won every award you can think of, Grandmasters and awards, fantasy and science fiction, author of some 400 books for children and adults. So that was a very interesting conversation. One thing it doesn't have is a transcript. I hate to do it, but I'm really leaning towards stopping doing transcripts. They're very time consuming, even with the automated transcription service. And when I look at my website statistics, it's clear that almost nobody is reading the transcripts. You can tell by the time spent on site. So I'm going to do the one with Jane Yolen because she's Jane Yolen, but I don't know if I will continue doing them on a regular basis or if I'll start posting them unedited. That's the other option. Say this is an automated transcript, leave it at that. You know what? I have a rock in my shoe. That's going to be annoying if I may have to stop and do something about that. Which is awkward because with the gimbal, it keeps trying to keep things upright. I need some way to keep it upright while I deal with my shoe. Well, you can turn it off, I guess. That works. I might have to do that, but I'll still have to find some place to sit down too. It's also windy. I have no idea what my sound is like today. So if you're watching live on YouTube or Facebook, on here on Victoria Day, it's a holiday, please let me know. And let me know, well, I can't do anything about the sound. I did put another cotton ball over the microphone, and that's may or may not do any good. I do have a new microphone coming, which will be a lapel mic, and hopefully we'll have or can have a sort of windsock put over it. But we'll see whether that'll make a difference or not. The only thing I'm concerned about is that I might lose my ambient sound with that, and then you wouldn't hear the birds chirping. I may have to stop and do something about that rock pebble in my shoe. It's quite annoying, and I might walk a little further than usual this morning too, so as soon as I find a place to sit down, I'll probably try to take care of that. So the podcast doesn't take very long if I don't do the transcript, and so the other option is I could trade off the benefit of doing the podcast with the transcript and do more episodes and no transcripts. That'd be another option. Walking toward the footbridge. Unstable internet connection. waiting for the, there it goes. Unstable internet warning went away, so if I was buffering, hopefully I'm not now, if you're watching live. A lot of people on the footbridge. It's the only trouble with today. There'll be lots of people on the path, which I prefer to have it to myself. It's not that I'm antisocial, I'm just antisocial. I just don't like point the camera at people. Lots of people out because it was raining, I guess, taking advantage of the break in the weather. But it is supposed to rain again tonight and into tomorrow, so let's see what tomorrow's walk. If it'll be in the morning or the afternoon. I normally take the steps, but just for excitement's sake, I'll take the ramp. Actually, the rock seems to have shifted somewhere. I'm not feeling it, so I guess I'll leave it for the moment. Well, the dike doesn't look too wet, so nah, I'll go this way. Traditional look at the creek. A nice sunny morning now. It wasn't sunny on the windy side over here. We'll be walking into the wind along the path here, so that might mean noise, and I'm getting a lot of unstable internet warnings, so I don't know if YouTube will stay up or not. If you're on YouTube, let me know. If you're on Facebook, let me know. I just followed the path. One of my first walks were along here, so you can watch the, if you go back and watch them one after the other, you can watch the seasons change. Got all these flowering trees now, blue sky, the leaves are almost all the way out, not entirely, like those still have a ways to go. Of course, the creek was frozen when I started doing this. There. The sky's quite dramatic today. Land of living skies, they call us. Saskatchewan, it is. We got a bit of that today. Doesn't look like I have to worry about showers though. See the lilacs? So that's not a lilac, that's another cherry tree. Never mind. I wouldn't mind going down by the waterfall park again, but not sure. Do I get a paved road all the way over there if I go that way? We'll save that for the return trip. No, let's do it. Turn down here. I've walked by this several times now. It was all frozen when I started walking. And now it's looking the way it's supposed to. Waterfall Park. Waterfall Garden, I think they call it actually. There's a sign somewhere. It's very pretty today. Look that way, you could imagine you're in the mountains, except for the complete lack of verticality. And then here's the waterfall. Really a fountain, of course, not a real waterfall, as in naturally formed. Over here over the little bridge. A bit more water in the creek, if you want to call it that. It's quite dry last time I went over it. Now, I do want to stick to the pavement, so I'll go this way. That was just a brief excursion. You look back, there's the whole park again. Waterfall and the little bridge. See, it rained pretty hard. There's a lot of stuff from the trees has come off, but looks like the flowers are still hanging on, which is nice. All right, well, this is not paved and muddy, so I'm going to stick on the grass over here as much as possible. Actually, it's weeds. Get back on the paved path. Here's my unstable internet warning again. Nobody has said hi yet, so if you're on Facebook or YouTube watching this, say hi. I'll say hi back. One thing I'm doing with these walks is there's a local initiative for people to count steps. You can post them in support of the arts, which of course have, especially the performing arts, which of course have suffered greatly and due to COVID. And so I rely on the Apple Health app, which counts steps. Don't know how accurate it is, especially when it's attached to a motion smoothing gimbal, but the numbers seem reasonable. Last week I averaged just over 8,000 steps a day, and the week before that, with some longer walks, it was over 9,000 a day. Seems about right. So if I extrapolate from that for the number of weeks I've been doing this now, which is certainly 2 months, so call it 8 weeks, might be 9 weeks, call it 8 weeks, say I've averaged 56,000 steps a week. That's a lot of steps. Around 450,000. It also gave me interesting information, like my average speed is apparently, what I'm walking right now is apparently around 6 kilometers an hour. And my average stride length is just under a meter. So if you need me to pace out a football field for you, I can get pretty close, apparently. That's just under a meter is a yard. The baseball field over here, you can see all the water down there. Shows just how much it rained. Oh, dandelions coming up. Another sign of spring, I guess. Into the wind. That's refreshing. I'm only wearing a light sweater. Because I know how warm I get. But I suspect that wind is not making my sound very good at the moment. So I hope you can hear me if you're watching live or if you're watching the recording. The wind is strong enough, I can feel it. And I'm basically holding up a little sail here. It's pushing the phone back toward me. Actually seems to be coming from the southwest. unstable internet connection I've commented on before. Oh, well, won't be walking straight ahead there. So as you can see again, quite a bit of rain. Obviously the catch basin there is plugged on the corner. Because you don't see those puddles anywhere else, so it's clearly a drainage issue right there. I might go a little further and go past the Wascana Bridge today. Won't go too much further that way because the trip adds up. You know, every step I take that direction, I have to take again coming back. So I don't mind being out a little over an hour, but it can easily build up. And I have writing to do. There's an apartment for rent if you need one. Not going to be able to stay on the sidewalk up here either. The creek is noticeably higher than a few times I walked by here. It was already higher yesterday. Was that yesterday when I was down this way? I wasn't down this way yesterday. It must have been the day before. Yesterday I walked up to Mosaic Stadium, as I mentioned. See another drainage problem here. Yeah, the creek is quite a bit higher. To be expected. It all comes out of Wascana Lake, so Wascana Lake has a spillway on it, a dam. They can control the level of the lake somewhat by adjusting that. But I don't imagine there's enough rain for that. This is just, well, it's collected and is coming on downstream. Not a flood or anything, but quite a bit higher than last few times I've been here. So I always stop here. There's usually geese down there. There are again. If you compare that to some of my earlier ones, you'll see that it's higher. Over on this side too. You can see some of the trees are kind of almost in the water on the shore down there. That's looking west where we're going to get more rain from later today, but I don't see it yet. Is anybody watching? Say hi. Water standing in the grass there. Uh-oh, I think I just lost the YouTube connection, so I'm going to restart the feed. So goodbye for now, I'll be back in a minute. Okay, this is feed 2 of my post-rain walk along the creek on YouTube. Well, on Facebook too, because I stopped the feed both. There's a turtle enjoying its natural habitat. YouTube feed went down. I caught it this time. It failed yesterday too, and I didn't catch it. But, so this is feed 2. Starting up fresh, and hopefully this one stays up. And then for the recording, if that's what you're watching, well, you probably just noticed a little blip there as I edited the 2 parts together. Anyway, here I am again, walking around, or walking along the creek, although right now the path is on the side of the creek, but it's over to my left. Wascana Creek, that is. If you're just joining me, I do this every day. Not along here, but I walk in Regina every day. And when I get home, I'll be working on my next novel for Daw Books called The Tangled Stars. I had a, not exactly an epiphany, well, I call it an epiphany. A couple of plot points suddenly became clear to me this morning in the shower. It's always a good place for thinking. And I now think I know pretty much the major scenes, I guess, action scenes anyway, that are coming. That rock has found its way back to an uncomfortable place in my foot. Benches there, but I don't know if they're dry enough to sit on. Let's see if I can get this rock out of my shoe. I guess I can take a look. Yeah, I can sit on those, okay. And hopefully I'm back. Wasn't that fun? Okay, carrying on. That's better. There's nothing more annoying than a rock in your shoe. Yeah, I'll edit out that for the recording. And of course, if you're watching the recording now, you're thinking, edited out what? But anyway, I tried to adjust my horizon, but it still looks a little off kilter to me. Okay, carrying on. As far as I know, nobody's watching live anyway. Nobody said hello, and this is the second feed, and the gimbal here is quite confused. There we go. All right. Now, did I double tie the knot on my right foot? Because if I didn't, it's liable to come undone. And I'll have to stop again, and that would be really annoying. If you are on Facebook especially, just watching, just say hi and tell me if I have sound. Of course, if nobody says hi, that may mean I don't have sound, or it may mean nobody's watching. I can't tell. But if you are watching and I have sound, you could put my mind at ease. And if you're on YouTube, say hi. I've had people follow me along all the way from Cyprus and Brazil and Colombia, other parts of Canada, the UK. It's kind of fun. Not a lot. As I usually mention at some point in one of these walks, this was all inspired by, it wasn't inspired by, it's inspired by, that may be a hard one to get by without getting my feet wet. There might be more water on this side than this side, actually, so maybe if I follow the path here. inspired by a fellow called, well, his name is Gabe, but his YouTube channel is Walking Commuter, and he walks in Manhattan. And it was watching him that made me think, hey, well, I don't usually come this close to the creek, but there it is. Quite high. You can see that tree on the other side is almost in the water. And although the wind makes it look like it's flowing to my left, it's actually flowing to the right. It's possible it's high enough I can't even get under the bridge. Never thought of that until now. Anyway, Walking Commuter, I recommend him. He's fun to walk with in Manhattan. And he has enough followers that he makes money at it. People give him money as he's walking, $5, $10 at a time. Doesn't sound like much, but if 20 or 30 people do that over the course of an hour walk, it's not a bad hourly wage. However, I need a lot more followers to do that, and I'm only at 64. I think you need 1,000 to monetize the channel, so not going to happen. It's a good thing. The real reason to do this is exercise. Let's just take a look under the bridge and see what the situation is. I was going to walk on through it today to go a little further. Let's just go down and take a look. Might be okay. It's fairly high. I mean, it should be, but it's the Pasqua Street Bridge. Yeah, it looks good here, but it looks a little suspicious. Keeps going down. Down. Oh no, it's okay. It's not that high. So we'll carry on this way today, just to be different, but it's really close. I mean, a little bit more, and it would be flooding the path. So I wasn't entirely crazy to think that was a possibility. I'll go a little further yet. See if I go all the way to the next bridge, it does start to add up distance-wise. How long have I been walking? Oh, well, yeah, this is the second one, so I don't have really have no idea. Usually if I just do my usual creek walk, it's only about 45 minutes. I don't mind going a little further than that. So right now I'm adding, every step I take doubles. It's like every step I take is 2 steps, time-wise, total time-wise. There's a bit of a path over here, but it's not paved. I don't know if it's going to be muddy or not. I'd say it probably is. There's a creek there. Well, I guess I can be walking down here without getting wet. Walk along the, so we'll stay on this side of the next road, that's Louvain. And I'll walk through the grass here, which I haven't done in this area before. Doesn't look like it's got any standing water in it. Another baseball diamond, which would belong to the city, I presume. It's for slow pitch teams to rent, that sort of thing. This one actually has a few stands. Dugouts. No concession stands though. Yeah. Good sand here, and then this is kind of semi-paved, so not too bad. Yeah, I should call that a dugout. They call them dugouts even though they're not actually dug out. It has advertising in the outfield. One long sign. And there's the wind you can probably hear. possibly you can hear it and not hear me entirely, possibly. Now it's behind me. Well, behind and to my right, it's southwest. Another lonely walk so far. Nobody has said hi on either YouTube or Facebook. Keep walking. I don't care if you don't like me. I try not to take it personally. Just walking along the outfield here. To take us back. If I keep going. Back to the path. I'm going to walk this way instead. Into the parking lot of Saskatchewan Express, which I've talked about before. There's some canoes here. I know when my daughter was in school and they went canoeing in phys ed, it was on this stretch of the lake, so this may be school canoes. Oh! Oh! Thought I was done slipping on slippery things. That was slippery grass that time, no ice. And I almost went down. I hope you enjoyed that moment of terror. I aim to please. So that's Saskatchewan Express, which is a theater school and performing young people, sort of, you know, teens, early 20s, typically. Audition in a form a troupe that tours the province extensively most years, obviously not last year, not this year either, at least not now. They also have classes for musical theater, dance, and that sort of thing, and it's slippery too. And this gym on the old school down here, they try to do a theater, but they've done, well, not just them, but the artistic director there has staged Scout musicals that are usually Christmas time. I haven't been in one. I'm more available for that stuff now, and of course it's all shut down. I had auditioned for Persephone Theater in Saskatoon just before this all happened for Beauty and the Beast, because I was in Beauty and the Beast up there in their very first performance in their new theater in 2007. And I thought it would be cool to be in the cast of this one if they wanted me, but a lot of things happened at Persephone. Artistic director left, COVID hit, so I haven't even thought about auditioning for a while. If you want to see me perform, however, there are a few things on my YouTube channel, including Regina Musical Theater's recent online concert, Flip the Script, Broadway in Reverse, which featured gender-swapped Broadway songs. My wife and I did Sue Me from Guys and Dolls, with me playing Adelaide and her playing Kate in Detroit. And our daughter, Alice, did Tonight at 8 from She Loves Me. And I did Maria, usually known as How Do You Solve a Problem Like Maria, but the title's just Maria, from The Sound of Music. That is, of course, a quartet of nuns. I did all four nuns. And I couldn't find a wimple, so I had a white t-shirt making a band over my head, and then a black t-shirt over that to make the wimple. That was my costuming. I recorded each part separately, and then they digitally stitched me together so that there were four of me singing the quartet. Each one, I changed my voice just a little bit, obviously. I can't change it to a soprano, but you know, a lighter tone for Sister Margareta. My full basso for Mother Superior, or the Mother Abbess. Turned out really well. I was very, very pleased with it, considering it was just shot in our living room in front of a green screen with no direction. I just had to figure out everything, so maybe we had some direction earlier, but not for the shoot. And it worked really well. A little not together in the acapella at the end, as you'd expect, because that's just blank sound, no sound in the accompaniment, and no way to tell if I was with my other parts because I didn't have a monitor. Like I wasn't listening to my previously recorded parts while I was singing each part. So the fact it turned out as well as it did made me happy, and people seem to enjoy it. You can find that on this very YouTube channel, if that's where you're watching it, or on my YouTube channel if you're watching on Facebook. And my YouTube channel has an easy URL that you can use, tinyurl.com/Edward Willett on YouTube. YouTube provides one too. I think it's youtube.com/c/Edward Willett, which might even be easier. But when I set up the tiny URL one, I hadn't checked that to see what it was. Well, that was just a little excursion further than I normally go. Now walking back along the park. The creek is over there. I think I'll probably carry on today straight ahead to the cathedral and walk on the streets to avoid the people with their dogs on the path, all that sort of thing. I want to be alone. Glad I didn't fall back there. I haven't fallen yet while recording. Wintertime I thought was the time I had to worry about that. I was taken very much by surprise by that slippery grass back there. But I caught myself, and I didn't hurt myself much. So, I've come close a couple of times, but I haven't fallen. My joke has always been, this goes on Facebook, not Faceplant. And it doesn't go on Tumblr at all. Haha. Maybe I should go through this and add rim shots wherever I make a joke and a laugh track. Could. You can edit the sound separately from the image. But I won't. Yeah, I went that way down by the giant beaver to check it out last Monday. Last time I came this way, so this time I'll go straight. Balkwell Center over there, Civic Arts Center, the Art Gallery of Regina, Regina Senior Center. I walked by all those not that long ago. I'm suspicious the YouTube feed, second YouTube feed failed, just like the first one, only I didn't see a notice. Certainly there's been no indication anybody is watching live today on either Facebook or YouTube. So it may be one of those days when the live stream just has not worked, which has happened a few times. I don't know if there's a problem with my phone losing the signal, because I'm often in areas where the signal should be strong. But of course the demands of live streaming are different than just making a phone call. It could be a strong signal, plenty strong for phone call, but not strong enough to stream even at 720, which is what this stream's at. See, the wind will start to bring down some of the cherry blossoms. That one was throwing a few at me as I went by, and there's some in the ditch there, the gutter, I mean. Yeah. Another blockage in the drainage. three of us in our family have had our first shots. Alice just on Friday, she was in the drive-through for 5.5 hours. My wife and I have become eligible for our second shots June 14th, so looking forward to that. I'm gonna walk this way. I don't think I've ever walked down this side of the street. And it's nice with the leaves out now. It's kind of a tunnel effect. Walking south on Elphinstone from 15th, if you are following along at home on Google Maps, which I'm quite sure nobody has ever done. But I always mention the possibility. Walking commuter in Manhattan, we've occasionally checked out where he is on Google Maps. We've been to New York, not very often, but a few times. I went as a chaperone with my daughter's choir in 2019, I guess. And yeah, that would have been her senior year, so and that was fun. Well-behaved bunch of kids. They were singing in the Lincoln Center, actually, which is cool. So my daughter has sung with a choir in Lincoln Center, and I've sung with a choir in Carnegie Hall, so it's not bad for one family, I figure. So, just the Neil Balkwell Center. Sometimes I walk along it. But today, I came this way. College Drive, College Avenue, not College Drive. Blue bins recycling, brown bins are garbage. Today's garbage day for us. I was smart, took it out last night before it started to rain. I'm not always that smart. Dramatic lighting as the clouds go over the sun. That's a striking color on that house. Very strong, bold choice, I would say. It hasn't always been that color. I don't know when it was painted that color, but it certainly is blue. It's the blue period. Birch trees make a canoe, peel off enough bark. That one has changed over the years too. Didn't used to be that color. Looks nice. We need to paint ours desperately. But our first thing is we're going to build a deck this summer and a small extension with a downstairs bathroom in it. So this is actually a new house that really matches the look of the neighborhood far better than some of the new houses being built. We think the house next to ours, well, it's for sale. We think it's been sold, and we think it's likely to get torn down, so that's a little concerning what might be going up there. It'll be very strange to have something different there, since both houses date back to the 20s, have been neighbors all that time. And the neighbors that were living there, they're in their 90s now, but they'd been there since the 50s, and my wife's grandparents have been in the house we're in since 1939, so that'll be a real change when that house, if that house goes. Maybe we're wrong, maybe they're going to renovate it, but it didn't sound like that. I talked to the daughter of the people that lived there. Next corner is my crescent that I live on, Angus Crescent. Well, this has been a very lonely walk again. 2 days in a row now I've had no commentary from anybody. No live comments. Yesterday though, there was no sound on Facebook and the YouTube feed went down and I didn't even notice. And today, I don't know if there's sound on Facebook, and YouTube feed failed at least once and I restarted it. So there's been 2 feeds. But it's not too late. If you're watching live, say hi. Let me know I'm not entirely alone on this walk. And if you're watching the replay, I hope you're just enjoying the walk in Regina on a somewhat unsettled day. Heavy rain last night, or at least copious rain, and more coming tonight. And now we're getting sort of a mix of sun and cloud. You kind of see from the dirt on the sidewalk, that would have been water running over the sidewalk into the gutters past the base of the trees where there's bare dirt. Yeah, because I started with that little bit of Oh Susanna, that song is running through my head. It rained all night the day I left, that's why I thought of it. Whether it was dry. Sun so hot I froze to death, Susanna, don't you cry. And the sun's back. Hello, Robin. Last few minutes to say hello if you're there. I suspect you're not live, hopefully. If you're hearing that at all and you're not live, then you can still leave a comment on the recording, of course. If you enjoy this, I enjoy it, that's the main thing. Okay, I'll stop at the intersection up here. Morning. Right then, I'll stop here. So thanks for walking with me, and I'll be back tomorrow.